Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks.
What's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling, and I'm coming back at you this evening. And I want to talk to you about a young man who was recently murdered in Puerto Rico. And the reason that this is important is because this happened Sunday night. This was a young black man from Wilmington, Delaware. Let's go ahead and pull the reports up. I know you guys who are used to making comments are kind of shocked that you can't make comments anymore. I need you to join Dennis Sperling Unfiltered. Unless you're a moderator or unless you pay to make a comment, you won't be able to participate in the conversation. We've been going at this twice a day for about 6 to 8 months now. You're getting quality information. I'm giving you the talking points that you need to be able to carry yourself in a way that you know what you're going to have to say to defend yourself or argue your point if somebody comes at you wrong. If they have questions about how you conduct yourself, if they have questions about why you rather play video games all day than go out and do go to clubs. They want to know why you don't want to come around and hang out at the cookout with your family who mistreated you. They want to know why you rather hop on a plane and go overseas and deal with these lovely ladies here in the United States. You're getting all of that in here. You're able to participate in the conversations. All I ask you guys to do is join. It's once a month. You guys pay for all sorts of stuff. Make sure you pay for what you appreciate. If you guys truly appreciate what I'm doing here, then you'll be willing to contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. But more importantly, you'll join the conversation. Now, if you have something to say, you can contribute to the Super Chat. If you want to contribute to the PayPal, go ahead and do that. And the Cash App, you'll be able to get your comments in. I'll definitely give you a shout out. But here's the situation. I want to give first a shout out to all my moderators. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. This is another very interesting child support. Oh man, Al said Dennis is child support fun. Hey man, you know what, man? Hey, you can call it what you want to call it as long as you call it in. That's all I care about. But anyway, you guys contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Let me give you a picture of this young brother. This is his name here. This is a young black brother. He was only 24 years old. He's from Wilmington, Delaware. And basically says, burned corpse in Puerto Rico identified as missing Wilmington man. Officials say he was shot first. All right. The burned corpse found in Puerto Rico on Sunday. This is the young brother right here. That's him, 24-year-old Tariq Quadir Loat went missing. Shout out to Brian Tinsdale, new member. You guys join the membership family, Young and Hustling. He's in the house. We got another Young and Hustling. This picture was taken of him on the 24th of April. So what happened? Basically, and I've been to Puerto Rico a few times, man. I've taken my kids down there. Even though it's a territory, it's still like a foreign country, and you got to know how to conduct yourself. And what we're going to do is we're going to spend the time and go through this fact pattern here in the news, and we're going to talk about it. The burned corpse was found in Puerto Rico on Sunday. It has been identified as 24-year-old Wilmington resident Tariq Quadir Loat. Police said the Institute for Forensic Science identified the body Tuesday afternoon and determined that Loat had died of a gunshot wound before being burned, according to Maria Conte Miller, director of the agency. So basically, they shot him. Then they tried to dispose the body by burning them. His body was my way. Okay, so they had basically, car and took him somewhere to try to burn the body. It was impossible to establish the analysis comparison of fingerprints. Body found in the municipality of Vega Baja. Vega Baja corresponds to Tariq Quadir Loat. Cointe Miller said, in this way, the Institute of Forensic Sciences was able to carry out a legal and scientific identification in this case. So what ended up happening was his family flew down from Wilmington to Puerto Rico, and they identified his zigzag. They identified his tattoos, and they basically recognized him from his height and weight. So this is him. Loat was first reported missing by his pregnant girlfriend Saturday night after a violent confrontation in La Perla neighborhood in Old San Juan, according to the police. So here's what happened. Basically, he's over there in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, this is to be separate. This is where the old town is. This is by where the fort is and all that sort of stuff. I've been there. It's kind of reminds you of New Orleans a little bit. I've actually walked through there at night. When you go there and you riding around and you see people hanging out, it's busy. It's locals. You see what I mean? It's definitely what happened. Loat and his friend James Jackson. Loat and a friend Jackson were traveling in a bus. They decided to get off and take pictures. They got off and take pictures at night. They were confronted by a crowd of people who told them not to take photos because it could attract police, according to reporting from Primera Hora daily newspaper. And that don't just sound always right to me. Okay, that's what I'm saying. They're not giving enough facts. But we're gonna keep reading because there's some other reports. So you get off the bus. Okay, so then what happens? After a heated exchange, Loat, in other words, Loat and his homeboy Jackson were talking to these Puerto Ricans, right, in their little neighborhood, right? Loat and Jackson were beaten after that heat exchange. Jackson escaped and fled. In other words, Jackson broke out and left his homie. Okay, he left his homie and went to a local business called La Verganza, I'm butchering, where he broke out and left the homie, okay, to beat up Puerto Ricans in Old Town, Puerto Rico. All right, well, and according to the article, Jackson lost sight of Loat. In other words, he booked out on his homie, right? He gone. He hit the block. Your little scary homeboy hit the block. And so Jackson lost sight of Loat when he reached the business. Relatives of Loat were in Puerto Rico on Monday to see the body. Friday was that one police said. So they identified that was him. Okay, so that's what happened according to that newspaper article. So, but what you got to do is you got to be a little deeper because, not everybody's telling the whole thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide on over here. And we got a picture of the brother, 24 from Wilmington, Delaware. See, he's a long way from Delaware. All right. Now, let's read this other one. This is from the Washington Post, who has a correspondent down in Puerto Rico. San Juan, Puerto Rico, burned body of 24-year-old tourist from Delaware was identified on Tuesday, 3 days after he and a friend were attacked following a drug purchase in a seaside San Juan district popular with visitors. Puerto Rico police said. Police Commissioner Antonio Lopez Figueroa said Tariq Quadir Loat and a friend had purchased unspecified drugs in the shanty town of La Perla and were trying to take photographs after being warned not to. Okay, so check this out. All right. Police said the two were beaten with items including an exercise weight, a piece of wood, a deep fryer. Okay, they hit these brothers with a deep fryer, family. A deep fryer. On Saturday, Loat disappeared and his friend James Jackson managed to flee, but was then hospitalized with injury. They hit them with an exercise weight, a piece of wood, and a deep. So they in front of somebody's house somewhere. This is not some random outlet, you know. And then at some point they shot the brother. All right. Police said Lloyd's body was found Sunday in the town of Vega Baja, about 20 miles away or 20 miles west of San Juan, and was identified by fingerprints. The attackers have not yet been identified. Basically, they took the body and shipped it 20 miles away after they beat him up and killed him. It's rare. And see, here's what you got to understand. They got to cover, they got to CYA at this point. So what are they going to do? Hell with what happened to him. He dead. We got to protect this tourism industry. So this is what they're going to write. It's rare for tourists to be killed in Puerto Rico, an island with 3.3 million people that last saw a record number of killings nearly a decade ago. The last tourist to be reported killed was 39-year-old man from Denver, Colorado, who police say was thrown from an SUV and run over in San Juan in February 2020. All right, La Perla was once a dangerous, check this out, right? They need to get this for the tourist magazine. La Perla was once a dangerous slum controlled by rival drug gang and considered Puerto Rico's biggest distribution point for heroin. But the reputation has largely faded, especially since it was used as the backdrop for the video Despacito, as if that's gonna stop it. A song released in 2017 by Puerto Rican singer Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee. Hundreds of tourists have visited La Perla, where criminal activity was greatly reduced after a 2011 raid by federal agents. All right, so check this out. So basically, they're saying the brother was buying drugs. This is what they're alluding to, unspecified drugs. All right, and then down at the bottom of this article, they're saying it was heroin. They said that this place was known for heroin. So readers are automatically assuming, oh, these guys, it's Jackson and this Loat guy, they're out there buying heroin. Oh my God, that's what happened to them. Because see, they got to protect their tourism industry. Here's something else you got to understand. Puerto Ricans, they are, I hate to say it like this, but they have racist tendencies. They know what Negroes look like. They treat Dominicans bad. The Puerto Ricans treat the Dominicans bad because the Dominicans are the Negroes of the Spanish diaspora or the Latino diaspora, if you kind of look at it like that. Even though Dominicans are cool, you know, and whatnot, they like the music and all that, they still have racial tendencies. So they know what Negroes look like. They have a social hierarchy down there too. But the bottom line is the first problem that we have here is that Tariq and Mr. Tariq got off the bus, and whether they were taking pictures or not, that's what they said. They were taking pictures. Bro, if you're going over there to buy you some weed, that's a problem. Smoke all the weed you need to smoke in the States. All right, stop. And another thing, when you're confronted by tourists, and I told you guys this the other night, don't get in any confrontations with any locals. You're gonna lose that fight, fam. You always gonna lose that battle. They beat that man with a goddamn a damn weight and a deep fry. They beat him with a deep fry. You see what I'm saying? And this is, you ain't even in a foreign country. You're in the territory of the United States at this point. This black man right here, 24-year-old, this young black man right there. Okay. So they riding through Old Town. I don't know if they had a few drinks or not, who knows, but I definitely see some poor judgment in here. You getting off the bus, and then you taking pictures in the area, and they said don't do it because you could attract the police. These people take this serious. They have to live here. You're just a tourist. And again, these rules that I gave you guys the other day, man, I give them to you for a reason. All right. I gave them to you for a reason, and they don't just apply when you're in. I mean, this is, to me, this is common sense. Would you go if you're from Chicago, if you're from Detroit, and I dropped your ass off in Compton, and you went and bought some weed, are you gonna sit around there and take pictures of the goddamn projects, or you gonna get back in your ride and get to where you are? See, what I also see here, folks, is a lack of respect for where they work. Yeah, you think these people, oh yeah, they just, you know, they ain't like where I'm from, Wilmington, Delaware. That's the real deal. You know what I'm saying, man? It go hard, man. We got this, we got that. You ain't in Wilmington, Delaware right now, man. You down in the third world country, basically. You in the territory of the United States. You see what I'm saying? You out of pocket. And you have to, wherever you are, you have to respect those people, and you have to recognize, right, that that's not your territory, and you don't know anybody, and you don't have any backup. You getting out the car and you get in a heated argument with these people. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. You got to respect people and respect their culture. You're not the top dog over there. You're not the alpha male over there. You just a goddamn tourist. You see what I'm saying? I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been there with my family. I've taken my children on several occasions. I've been there with friends and family. You see what I'm saying? I've had a wonderful time in Puerto Rico. Never had any issues. But what I never did over there, I ain't never tried to buy no weed. I ain't never got off the bus. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing, look at this homeboy. Look what this homeboy did. Homeboy just broke out on him. You see what I'm saying? Your homeboy just broke out on him. When it all got rough and tough, the homie, Mr. Jackson, sorry, Mr. Jackson. Ooh, he broke out on him. Got ghost. Got little, as they say back in LA. He got little. You know what I'm talking about? He got little. You know how when them little cartoons, they go from big, as they running away, they get little. He got little on him. So this is what happened, man. This wasn't even over a gold chain. This is basically over you. This is our neighborhood. You can't come around here. You know, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that they were over there. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. How would the police officer know they were purchasing some unspecified drugs unless he caught the people or knew the people he was buying the drugs from? I mean, did Mr. Jackson tell it? Why would he go and tell the police that he was buying drugs? Because see, now you're looking at federal time. You see what I'm saying? Because the police are governed by, because Puerto Rico is a territory, it's governed by the feds. So now what's going on? What's happening is now you're damn near an accessory to a murder because you were committing a criminal act when somebody got murdered. So his homeboy Jackson, he damn near looking at some time in the Fed behind this foolishness. You see what I'm saying? When you go over there, man, be a tourist, man. Go over there, respect people's stuff. You like Old Town. I like Old Town. I've had a couple of shots of tequila in Old Town. I party during the daytime. And when it's time to party, there's a casino right there along the beach. You see what I'm saying? You go over there, you hang out and enjoy yourself, man. And then I had one of the best times of my life in Puerto Rico. I went with my homeboy, my son's godfather, another brother who came down from DC, my homeboy, Mike Green, I went to high school with, a couple of ladies. We had a great time, safe time. We had a taxi, nothing problem. What we wasn't doing is taking the bus to going to get some weed, if that was what they was doing. I don't know what they was doing. I'm just saying. That's not something, you got to use your common sense, fellas. That ghetto pass that you have, that you got living in Chicago, that ghetto pass that you got living in LA, in Miami, Little Haiti, Brooklyn, that ghetto pass is not transferable, fam. They don't care about all that. And on top of that, you're a black dude. So they looking at you like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You in violation. It's not like we talking about a white girl. Oh my God, let me get some weed. They might give her a pass because she's a white girl and they know that's gonna bring all kind of heat down on. But you over there, you in violation. First of all, you in violation. You taking pictures. They done told you not to take the goddamn pictures, and you taking pictures. And then you get in an argument with these folks, and instead of backing down, what do? You instigate the situation, man. You know, you just basically throwing your life away on that one. That's not cool. But anyway, you know, it's a hard call. You see what I mean? It's a hard call because we don't have all the facts in. But the main thing is, fam, you got to understand that there's some rules and some regulations for how you get down when you're overseas. And what you don't do is you don't argue with the locals. I told y'all that before. Let me run these rules down for you, okay? Let me run these rules. And apparently his lady was with him. His pregnant girlfriend was with him because she was the one that reported the thing. All right, but what's the first rule I said? What's the first rule I told? Well, one of the first rules about dealing with the women that's over there. All right, if you out there looking for women, don't pick if you looking seriously, you know, don't pick the ones off the street. You know, you heard what happened to the brother, Mr. Reed, the other day. All right. I understand why you're down there. You want submissive, traditional, feminine, obedient women. I get that. You might not necessarily get that in Puerto Rico because they're Americanized. All right. And what else did I tell y'all? Stay off social media, right? I told you guys that. What were these dudes doing? Taking pictures? Who they taking pictures for? They trying to show off on the ground, stunting for the ground. And the other thing I told you, never get in a fight with the locals because they will gang up on you, and you're an outsider. And if you had a girl over there, she'll still team up against you, man. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Learn the language. These brothers, it didn't seem like they spoke a lick of Spanish, or they would have known better. They would have known not to even go in that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of ways you can learn. Google the neighborhood, know where you are. That particular neighborhood that they were in, La Perla, is one of the highest crime areas in Puerto Rico. And they're over there trying to buy weed. This is what I'm saying. You see what I mean? You got to blend in. You got to know how to fit in. You got to understand. You got to move like that. So anyway, I want to give a shout out to Brian Tinsdale, my newest member. Thank you so much. Emma Z, Malika, who's also one of my INRIT, my other moderators. But you got to respect me. Yeah, shout out to Philly. What do you see? Tourists keep going to La Perla like it's right. You keep going over there to La Perla like it's a game, bro. Then you just read the news reports. This is one of the highest crime rates in the area. You don't go there, you go be with the tourists. You can't wait till you get back to Wilmington to blow you some drum. This is what I'm saying. They are, I mean, because I'm assuming what they were doing, they were over there trying to score some weed or something like that, and it went bad. That's what I think probably happened. I don't think it was unspecified drugs. I mean, brothers ain't really trying to do no hair. You going to Puerto Rico to do heroin? You 24 years old? I don't think it was like that. I think they just trying to, I think with this newspaper report, they just trying to cover their own butt. I think brother made a mistake. He's a young man, 24 years old. He's a baby. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many times he's been to Puerto Rico, but it didn't sound like he was going down there, you know, with some Puerto Ricans. Didn't sound like he was going down there with some people that know the territory. But this is a horrible neighborhood. Even they say it in their own, you know, they said in their own report here. La Perla was once a dangerous slum controlled by rival gangs and considered Puerto Rico's biggest distribution point for heroin. This is where this man was at, you know, apparently at night, you know, trying to get some weed or something like that. Who knows what the brother was trying to do? But it didn't work out. And then his homeboy just booked out and left him when it got hot. He just ran. You see what I'm saying? The homie just, I don't know if it was his homie or not, but he just left. He just broke out and left him and got him shot like that. I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know the circumstances, but typically, you know, you stand a better chance together than if you separate yourselves. You know what I'm saying? But this is beautiful. But this right here, look how they living up in there, man. These are the slums out there, man. This is La Perla. You don't want to spark no problems with these people. Half these people ain't never been off this island. They ain't been nowhere, ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something you got to be careful where you go. Look, you want to talk about this conversation, man, come on in. I want to hear what you brothers have to say. If you read about this, you heard about this, let's talk about it, and I'm going to give you some solutions because I know people are going to try to bring this up to try to scare you from traveling overseas, okay? They don't want you to go overseas. They want you to stay here stuck in America. I promise you, no matter what happens in this neighborhood, you know, you know, what is it? 1 in every 4 black men stand. How many? 1 in every 1,000 black men stands a chance of getting shot by the police or something like that. I forget what the stat is, but bottom line is, fam, don't let that run you away. But what you do have to do is you have to learn from this. Okay, you can't go overseas and be stunting like that on people, man. You can't go overseas and get an argument with these people. They are not concerned about you as an individual. All right. They see we have this individual American spirit thing. You see what I'm saying? It's all about me. It's not. It's all about the collective as opposed to the individual. You see what I'm saying? And so it's a different perspective that they have. Those of you who want to join in on this conversation, come in. my condolences to the family. If you all see this, there's some other things you could have done, man. Like I told you, I'm connected in Puerto Rico. I know people in Old San Juan. Before you take these trips, give me a call. Let me do Overwatch for you. All right. Let me plug you in with some people that can help you. Hit me up, sperlingdennis@gmail.com. Let me go ahead and set this thing up for you so you can have a nice, peaceful trip. They renting a VRBO with 6 people in it, right? Clear across the city. This is where they at, right? They don't know nobody. It's plenty of other stuff you could have done. You see what I mean? If you out there trying to score, I mean, something, right? It's other ways you could do that. You know, you have to know how to move when you're moving like that. You got to be careful. But anyway, anybody who wants to join in this conversation, go ahead and join in the conversation. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? You want to add on to something, you have some facts. Come on, let's add on. But above all, make sure that you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. All right? That's the most important thing. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. How you doing today? Anybody who wants to join in this conversation and have a conversation about this, you're welcome to come in. This is we got a lot of brothers who are SYSBM, Save Yourself, and your hopes and dreams are to move overseas and enjoy your life. And it's the way you have to operate. Dreadman Jackson, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. So we got Lee and Dreadman Jackson. You know, I'm looking at this scenario. I'm not trying to be too judgmental. All the facts are not in. But from what I can tell, this brother made a lot of mistakes early on. And you know, his homeboy Jackson, who was with him, he didn't help the situation. What are your thoughts on this, Lee? And then we're gonna go to Dreadman Jackson.
First of all, I want to thank you because of you, I went to Colombia in March and I had such an amazing time. And
Right.
I look at you as a role model, to tell you the truth, man. I really admire your work, and you came from the mud, and I'm from the mud, just like you. So seeing you being so accomplished, that really puts the battery in my back to proceed and move forward. But you have to be very careful going out to
the Most High, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you got to be very careful going out to these third world countries or these developing countries because they already look at you as a target, and you have to move you have to be very discreet in the way how you move. When I went to Colombia, the first thing I did was put up my jewelry because I didn't want to walk around in Cartagena, you know, just flashing jewelry, etc. So the first thing I did was just put it in a safe. Right. So my advice to brothers is, they're going to look at you as a target. When I went to Delirium, there's a club in Cartagena called Delirium, and I had my camera. Is that the one
in the castle area over there with all the Castile in the central area? Is real. You know what I'm talking about? They got the ladies standing outside, posted up, waiting, trying to advertise. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Let me find some photographs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I went out there and I bought like a mini camera before I traveled, and I was just out there taking pictures. And one of the ladies came up to me in English and said, "Hey, you not do that. You don't because you know these women out here, they have kids, etc. So you can't be out there just taking pictures and filming everybody." And the first thing I did, I just took my camera in my pocket. I said, "No more. I'm not going to do that anymore."
Yeah.
I also want to bring it to your guys' attention.
But no, let's talk about that. So the brother Lee was just saying he was down in Colombia for the first time. He was out there taking pictures. Okay. And one of the Colombian women rolled up on him and say, "Hey, you can't be out here taking pictures of these women because they have children, because we know what you're gonna do for it. You're gonna put it up on social media." What's the first thing I told y'all the other day when we was talking? Stay your ass off of social media. You see what I'm saying? Because number one, people don't want you posting their pictures up on social media. You treating these people like they're trees and their monuments and their buildings, and you on tours. You treat them like you on a safari, and these are the wild animals that say you treat, and they looking at you like, dude, we live here. Like, we're not. Stop treating us, stop objectifying us in that manner. We're not it. We're human beings. You putting up, they got social media everywhere. You see what I'm saying? And so you disrespectful to these people, man. You see what I'm saying when you do that? And so that's why I tell y'all, just keep it up here in your mind. You see what I'm saying? You don't need to be out there stunting for these folks. But go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what you just said, you have to be very careful posting things online because there's a lot of anti-Black Hispanic males who
Yep.
take your contact. Actually, I just came from one of these anti-Black Hispanic males, and they're posting your content right now, Dennis, and they talking
Oh yeah.
about you speaking Spanish and how you trying to act Hispanic, and we have a light skin fetish, and etc. And they will go on these 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hour live stream with a bunch of anti-Black Hispanic males,
Well,
and
they're
they would just
welcome to
talk
come
about Black
here
men
to my
all day.
page. Tell them I said they're welcome to come here to my page. Any of you guys who are Hispanic, you're welcome to come here. But what I would suggest to you all is, why do you care which one of my European oppressors' languages that I speak? You speak Spanish. That is from Spain, which is in Europe. You're not a Spanish person. You're a person from South America. You're an indigenous person from Central America or Mexico. You're a conquered people just like my people were. So you're not even speaking the native language that you're supposed to speak. Spanish and English and Portuguese, they are all Latin languages, which means they come from the Latin world. Now, I ain't talking about Mexico. So you can be as anti as you want to be. I don't mind that. But if you want to come on and have a conversation, let's have this conversation. Let's talk about the language that you're supposed to speak. Whether I speak Spanish or Portuguese, whether I speak English or German or French, none of those are the languages of the indigenous people that I'm derived from. Those are all the languages of white Europeans who conquered your people and conquered my people and helped transport my people to these lands. So what are you mad at me for? If you were really men, you would go be mad at that white man who's been conquering your lands and taking your women and robbing your countries and oppressing your governments for the past 200 or 300 years. That's that's who you really be angry with.
They never got
to my let me finish. To my Latino brothers who are from South America and Central America and all these other countries, you're welcome to come have this conversation. But if you have a problem with me speaking Spanish, then I'm gonna have a problem with you speaking English. So don't learn this language that I was stolen and put on me if you got a problem with me learning your language. What do you think they're gonna say about that, Lee?
They're not going to say anything. I just think there's a lot of anti-Blackness that's like
just
embedded in
brother.
the culture in the Hispanic communities.
It's so jealousy.
I assume so as well.
That's all it is. And they can be as jealous as they want to because they can't get to me. That's all that matters. But go ahead.
Yeah. I got something to say.
I'm gonna get to you in 1 minute, Mr. Jackson. Lee, what else you want to add to this conversation?
Yeah, I just want brothers to know that don't let this steer you away from going out there because going out to Latin America and to travel the world because there's a lot of people out there who's going to steer you in the wrong direction, especially on social media. There's a lot of I'm just going to say a lot of anti-Black Hispanic people, both men and women, who's trying to shame Black men from traveling, saying that we have a light skin fetish and we have a lot of self-hate issues and we don't like our women over here, etc.
Well, where do you think they're getting that from?
I think they're just looking at the content that.
Where is that coming? Who is that coming from?
I have no idea, but
I'm gonna give you. It starts with. I use these terms for. It's the first letter starts with L. The second letter starts. Where do you think it's coming from?
Yeah, it could be from the lovely ladies.
It's coming from the lovely ladies, Lee. It's the same rhetoric that the police use when they pull us over and shoot us down. They say their own women say they ain't no good, they thugs and all that. They're getting it from the same. Listen to me, brother. The same women that are feeding the police information about us are now being taken. They're taking it overseas. Yeah, y'all just got light skin fetishes. Y'all just this that. They got light skin fetishes in themselves. They call it swirlers. So don't ever forget how dangerous they are, which is why we have to have pages like this. You understand what I'm saying? But go ahead, Lee.
I also see a lot of the lovely ladies following these anti Black males, Hispanic guys, and they just dog American black men out on these channels with these Hispanic
I know, but
men.
brother, there's what you gotta. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah,
there's nothing they can do about it. All right, so we're gonna go to Jackson. Jackson, you want to come back in? Anybody else who wants to come back in and join the conversation, you're welcome to come back in and let's have this conversation. Let me see. Posting personal success online and travels online brings out jealousy and vindictive people. Have people that try to get me fired, vandalized property. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. Anybody else who wants to join in the conversation, you're welcome to come in and let's talk about it. We appreciate it. Let me see here. We got join the conversation here. We had a gentleman in here named was Jackson. Jackson left. Jackson left a few comments in the private section. He said, "I'm staying my ASS in the States." Okay, well, I appreciate you, Dredman Jackson, for that. Anybody else who wants to come in and join this conversation, come on in. The link is in the chat room. Lee, so okay, Dredman, you back. You got to unmute yourself. Dredman, all right. What's up, man? What do you want to add to the conversation here?
I was about to say, overseas isn't safe at all. It is not safe. I think.
Where have you been overseas, brother?
Never went.
So you never? Do you have a passport?
No, I don't have a passport yet.
So you're basing this information on secondhand information? Well, what have you seen that makes you feel like no place overseas is safe?
It is bad out because of the other laws and stuff. It ain't. It's when
you say overseas, do you mean like Mexico?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, you can drive to Mexico, so it's not technically overseas.
No, but it's not safe.
What about like Canada?
It's not safe, I think.
You don't think Canada's safe?
No, I don't think it's safe.
What about London?
No, it's not safe.
You mean London? Like, Canada has a lower crime rate than the United States, and so does London.
I'm in the States, man. I am safe here in my states.
What state do you live in? What region of the country do you live in? What state?
Michigan.
So, Michigan has one of the highest crime rates in America. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
So you feel safer in Michigan than you would in Canada, which has one of the lowest crime rates?
Mexico, I said. Mexico isn't safe at all.
Okay, but Mexico is not technically overseas. You can just drive down there.
No, but it's not safe at all. Think about it.
What about, okay, I get it. I hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to understand.
Drug cartel everywhere.
Right. And I would actually agree with you to a certain extent. But what about Canada? Canada's overseas. It's a foreign country.
Well, it's not Mexico, though.
Okay. So what about, you think Ghana is safe in Africa?
Nope.
Okay. What about Nigeria?
Nope, it ain't safe.
Okay. So what about Thailand?
Nope, it ain't safe.
Or what about London and Scotland?
Yes, it's safe.
They are safe. So basically, all the countries that I named that are run by white people are safe.
Yes,
but the ones that are run by black and brown people, you don't think they're safe.
There is no laws there. The rules are different. The laws are different. The rules are different.
Okay. Do you think Saudi Arabia is safe?
Different.
You think Saudi Arabia is safe?
Nope, it ain't safe.
Well, they're very strict in Saudi Arabia. They don't even allow weed smoking there.
Dude, I'm telling you, overseas places is not safe for us. We got to.
I know, but what countries specifically have you traveled to that aren't safe? We want to hear some stories.
Nowhere, because I feel safe here. Safest place.
Okay, well, what states have you traveled to?
New York. I traveled to.
What about you? Where else have you been? You been to New York? What, New York City? What borough?
I've been to Texas.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's fine, brother. And you're entitled to your opinion. How old are you, brother, if you don't mind me asking?
23.
You 23? Okay, well, you know what, brother? Maybe one day you'll change your mind.
But it's not safe, man.
I respect your opinions. I appreciate you calling in.
You know what I mean?
I can't hear you. Say again.
that is my life at risk, man. Overseas,
Well, look, like I
trust
said, I appreciate your opinions. You're entitled to your opinions, and I respect your opinions. There are a lot of people out there that feel the same way you do, and that's okay. And you're justified in that. So there's nothing wrong with that, Jackson. Okay? There's nothing wrong with the way you feel. And don't let anybody try to shame you into not feeling like that. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I appreciate you. We're going to go on to Mr. David Hampton. David, man, what's up, man? What else you have to add to this conversation?
How are you, sir? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, man. I can hear you fine.
I'm calling you from Cali, Colombia right now. I was in Cartagena for a couple weeks. I'm married.
Right.
I got a wife here. Here's my experience, and I'll give you a perfect example.
Yes,
did some tour. I just had a couple brothers come out with me in Cartagena, and one of them was a cool guy. We introduced him to a girl. He went on the tours. He did his thing. No problem with this guy. The other guy, he was out in the underbelly of Cartagena, running around with, the drug dealers and the lowest common denominator of Cartagena. Yeah, right. I mean, I'll put it to you like this. One morning we went to the bank. He had got his bank card stolen from him, and hanging out with those people.
Yeah.
And he went out 3 nights in a row. Came back broke every time because these people finessed him out of his money, stole his bank card. So then I had to go, draw out money for him. I said, hey, pay me back when you get back, right? We were walking down the street and the police stopped us and said, hey, that this is during the quarantine, of course, but the police officer said, hey, man, put your, was talking to me. He said, hey, you're cool, but this guy, I've seen him before. He needs to put he didn't speak Spanish. I speak enough Spanish to understand what the cop said, but you could just tell that the cop didn't like him. So, I mean, I don't know what happens with all these guys, but I can tell you that there are certain guys that they're in a whole bunch of foolishness in the States, and then they're going to go overseas and they're going to associate with the lowest common denominator of people wherever they go, And,
see, the thing is, we're getting to the point now, David. You don't just have the upper elite people who are traveling, who know how to conduct themselves, who know how to travel. You get the flights have dropped, the itch is there, brothers on the internet, and they are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go down there and get me one of them gals. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not going down there to
do business or put your feet down on me. I blend in, you know what I'm saying? I don't have the police don't know me. I don't have any problem with anybody. I'm not walking the streets after the the curfew, because they have these lockdown curfews down here. I'm not walking the streets like this guy I'm telling you about, and then the police are going to stop you. They're going to tell you to empty your pockets and what they call a multa, what do you call it? A fine, I mean, if you're looking for trouble, you're going to find it down here too. That's the thing. If you're the type of person, I don't have any problem in the States. Maybe a few traffic tickets here or there, or some minor picayune stuff. But I don't have any major problems. I don't have no problems down here. The police don't know me, so So if you're looking for trouble, you're gonna find it wherever you go. If you're that type of guy, and that. So the problem that we have now is that you've got these guys who are usually in some kind of foolishness in the States, and they're bringing that foolishness down to the Dominican Republic, to Mexico, to wherever. We can send videos.
You got it. And see, what I was trying to explain to the brother Lee earlier, he was saying the young lady asked him, don't take pictures of us. We have kids here. Like we're mothers. Like I'm trying to explain, these aren't inanimate objects. This is not a statue. This is a human being you're taking a picture of. You put her photograph up on Facebook, then the whole world's gonna know, or her family might know she's out at the club when she out there, working after hours, so to speak. When she's saying she is at her friend's house, she's got a regular life to live. You see what I mean? And so these brothers don't understand how to be discreet. And see, a lot of that comes
it's not safe, man.
A lot of that comes from being raised by single mothers. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to know how to conduct yourself. You can't just be out there acting up and letting your you in
Right.
the get, you can't do it
Right.
like that.
And looking for attention and all that other stuff. You
Don't
got to
don't
come down there. You got to lay low, blend in, be cool. You know, you go to a club, go sit there, have your drink, be cool. You know, you'll if you find some nice ladies, sit there, dance with them, be cool. You know, if you see a waiter or whatever, you say yes, si senor, no senor to him, the police, etc. Hand everybody some respect, and you're not gonna have a problem. But if you're running around the streets, you know, you're messing with people, you know, who have drugs. When you're in the club, you're throwing money on the floor. You're doing stupid, you know, you're wearing a gold, gold and walking around with your phone in your hand. You know, a lot of people don't understand that you got a lot of Venezuelans. You got a lot of people that, you know, they live day to day. They wake up in the morning just trying to get money so that they can get food to eat. That's it. They work one day, they eat one day, you know, and you're walking around with a gold chain worth $2,000 in the streets of Medellin or Cali or Cartagena or whatever. And these people see you. I mean, how are they supposed to feel? Of course, they're not going to like you. You know, you gotta lay low. You got to be cool, you know, and then put yourself around people. You know, I'm married. I've been coming down here for about 3-4 years. I'm married. I don't have no problems. And then listen to the people who you're around. Listen to the advice.
Look, you married a woman, so now see, you're also part of her family.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like her family,
So
he's one of us. He's exactly you going down there. Think about it, man. The brother went down there, dropped off him and his homeboy down there. Apparently, they jumped off the bus to go score something, according to the reports, allegedly.
There you go.
I'm thinking maybe they was trying to get some weed because they wanted to fire it up on the Malecon. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get it. I understand.
Right. We get it. Right.
You're not in Delaware anymore, bro.
No.
You're in a third world territory. You're in Puerto Rico during a pandemic. These people are not getting any aid. They're not getting any benefits. And on top of that, you decide to start taking pictures. And they specifically tell you, dude, stop taking pictures.
Right.
And you know, like, you're going to draw the police over here. What are you taking pictures for, dude? You just get your stuff and get up out of here, tourist. And then what happened? He sparked up an argument. Have you ever had an argument with somebody, David? And
no,
you
I don't argue with nobody. Right.
You don't argue with nobody.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that.
Yep.
My apologies, senor. Whether he's whether he's he could be a waiter, he could be a bummer, you know, a person on the street just, you know, looking for recyclables, you know. I'll say, sir, you know, and keep going, because you don't know what that person's going. I mean, these people are really desperate and they're really going through something that we can't even imagine. We can't. I mean, perfect example here in Colombia. The average person makes about $200, $250 a month. I make more than that in a day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm rich down here. So why come down here and flaunt it, you know? And then the other thing is, I wanted to say, is that a lot of people in America, they don't think that somebody's going to lay hands on them and hurt them, you know? That's the thing.
You hit me. I'm going to call the police. The police ain't
down here.
This is not. That's another thing, man. You get a dose of the real world when you go to these other countries. Okay,
They gonna lay hands on you.
They will. They will give you that work, and this is not just in the United States.
Right.
It's also
and it won't be just them. It'll be the neighborhood. It'll be you know what I'm saying. You might be arguing with somebody, and their cousin runs that store right across the street, and their other cousin or uncle is the cop. And you sitting here and you getting bad, and you a big puffer frog, you know, you full of air, and you get huge, and they're gonna deflate. They're gonna come with a pin, and they're gonna deflate all that. You're gonna be fighting the whole neighborhood.
Show some respect. Show some respect when you go to these people's country. Go down there, enjoy the food, enjoy the beach, enjoy the weather, enjoy the women, but show respect. Don't be arguing with people, and don't be doing that extra. You see what I'm saying?
Right, you got to get the last word. You got to talk over
I know. I'm like a female.
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna put my fingers up and all this other stuff. And I'm an American. They will knock you upside the head.
You're a big bad black dude. That's what you think. You're a big bad black dude, and you down there sparking up, and then it happens. I get it. I understand what happened in the situation. But look, hold on a minute, David. We're gonna go back to Lee. Anybody else who wants to join in this conversation, come on back in. Make sure you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. I want to make sure I give a shout out to my man, Brian Tinsdale. He is cracking up over there at Mr. Dredman Jackson. Dredman Jackson, come on in. We got us a young man who has never been out of Michigan. He's been to New York once, and he says it's just unsafe, Lee. He said anywhere else is unsafe. And he said Canada's safe, even though he's never been there. London is safe, but he's never been there. But he said Mexico and them other places with them black and brown people is just not safe. What do you have to say to people who, because he's entitled to his opinion. I respect you, Jackson. And you're welcome to come back in. I appreciate. Come on back in, Jackson. But I had to put him in timeout for a minute because he was yelling while David was talking. But I want Jackson. Come on back in, Jackson. We want to get you in here.
Can I say one thing to Jackson real quick?
Go ahead, Lee. I hope he would come back in. We enjoy folks like Jackson.
There's a lot of black people in Cartagena. I was surprised when I first went down there. There were so many black people. I had people walking up to me calling me Pop Smoke. Like literally, they're so in love with American culture, especially the hip hop culture. You get nothing but love. When I was on a boat. I forgot. You probably can help me out with this. There's like you could take a boat to like this little island where they serve like seafood. It's like all on the water on the beach, and there's like these little tents. When I went out there, I had black Colombian men saying, "You my brother from Africa," offering me free weed. Like literally.
Lord Jesus. Isn't it a beautiful experience though, man, just to go down there?
It was the best experience I ever had in my life. I'm going back in June. I already bought my ticket. I'm going back out there in June. And I found a lovely lady out there.
There you go.
Totally
amazing. She ain't a lovely lady. She's not a lovely.
She's not a lovely lady, but
not one of them lovely ladies.
She's from Cartagena, and like I had so much fun out there. So I just want brothers to know that there's a lot of people who look like you out there. There's a lot of black people in Latin America. So don't let these people shame you out there.
Go down there with the open mind. I don't care what these Latino dudes, some of these little Latino dudes got to say, man. I got forever one Latino dude that has something bad to say with me, I got 10 that say, man, we love this guy. He comes down here, he treats us with respect. He always tips well. He's a cool dude. And he's tried to learn the language so he can understand the culture. I'm not going to let one person, on some random person on the internet tell me where I can go and where I can't go. This whole world belongs to me. That's my philosophy. I can come and go as I please. And the rest of you black men, when you are a free man, not just a free black man, but when you are a free man, you see the world like that. This whole world belongs to me. I go wherever I want to go, live how I want to live. As long as I ain't bothering nobody, breaking no rules, man, I'm enjoying my life. That's the philosophy that I have, man. But go ahead, Lee. And then we're going to go to INR2.
And you mentioned something very important, Uncle D, the fact that you have to learn Spanish. Like I'm taking my Duolingo classes as we speak every single day because when I go back in June, I want to at least be immersed in the culture to the point where I could speak to them in Spanish. So I think if you get your Spanish game up as a brother, you fit right in because there's a lot of people who's melanated just like you.
Yeah, man. Well, the vast majority of the Africans who were taken from Africa were shipped to South America and Central America and the Caribbean. They weren't shipped to them. The vast majority of our people who were stolen were sent to the Americas. You understand what I'm saying? and see, when they say stuff like we're colorists, ain't nobody more colorist than the Hispanic dudes down there. Matter of fact, they so colorist, they call themselves Spanish, not Spanish, like they're Spain. You see what I'm saying? The blonde haired, blue eyed Venezuelan, Colombian. Look who they send up every year to the Miss America, Miss Universe contestants. They're very color struck. Nowhere in the world do we not have a colorist system. You see what I'm saying? It's everywhere. So but go ahead, Lee, and then we're gonna go to INR2.
And I also want to touch piggyback on what you said. A lot of I'm not gonna cast this aspersion on the whole community, but there's a lot of people within the Hispanic community who practice marora la raza, which means improvement of the race, where they feel that they have to marry or procreate with someone lighter. There's a approach called
there's a lot of us that practice that right here in the United States of America.
Yes, I might be wrong,
A
but
lot
the
of
name of the
these folks'
portrait is called.
grandma was just like that. But go ahead. We talked about that
Mhm.
earlier. Go ahead.
It's
Get your
called
white man.
the Redemption of Ham. It's a portrait where the dark-skinned grandmother is praying into the sky, and the mulatto
Bro,
daughter
you ain't
is,
got to go that far for that. They
yeah.
was doing that in New Orleans and Alabama and Florida just 100 years ago. That's the conversation I had earlier. That was the whole point. These women have been doing that. You see what I'm saying? All they're survivors. They recognize that the alpha male in the community, so to speak, is the white man, and so they want to have his baby so they can get his resources. There ain't nothing new about that. That's what this whole red pill movement. See, as far as I'm concerned, I don't limit red pill to just seeing what these women. I put my red pill lens on and look at history with it. I look at the Bible with it, which is why so many people have gravitated to this channel, because we are reinterpreting things the way it should be interpreted. But we're not gonna just stick that on that one group. We do that right here. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let INIR2 inner2 come on in, man. What are your thoughts on this conversation, brother? And look, where's Jackson? Jackson Dredman, come back in here. We want to talk to you, brother. Come on back up in here, and we want to get this conversation. We want to see if we can convince. We're gonna see if we can pitch together and get him a plane ticket to Mexico. Come on, what you got to say, bro? Talk to me.
I think it is kind of unfortunate that this young gentleman got, murdered. And I think the whole thing is there's more to this story, because I don't think there's many African American men, despite all the prescription drugs out there that are opioid laced, that are looking for heroin in a foreign country.
Now, look carefully. The article didn't say he was looking for heroin. Read what it said. The police officer said unspecified drugs. And then at the bottom of the article, it said that this was a point for pickup for heroin. So they alluded to it. Nobody wants to get sued. They just kind of alluded to it. So that was pretty slick of them. But I'm thinking, if any drug, brothers ain't really popular. 24-year-old boys ain't really, black men ain't really on no heroin. They looking for that drug. You see what I'm saying? You on an island vacation with your girl back at the house. You looking for some weed, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that is an allegedly. Unfortunately, this reminds me of the other brother that he's here from where I'm from, technically currently right now, Atlanta, and he got killed in Colombia. And then I think, a few years ago, about the case about the young gentleman in Greece, Bakari Henderson.
I remember that. Now, tell them what happened so they'll know. Remember that story.
Bakari Henderson, which is very, well, not similar, but kind of similar to what the guy's friend did. He was a very tall, handsome black gentleman in Greece, and he got into a bar fight with the local men there that were jealous because the women were flirting with him, and he eventually got jumped in his.
Now he was there with some white boys. He was there with some. Don't forget that part. He was there with his white homeboys.
Yeah, and that's where I'm leading up to. Yeah, he was there with his white counterparts, and they actually abandoned him and let him get murdered. And this was in a foreign country. Right. My whole thing is, me being the first generation born here, because I am from a Jamaican lineage. My dad's from St. Cat, and my mom's from St. Elizabeth. I've been to Jamaica several times. I've been to the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo. I've been to Sao Paulo.
Right.
You have to have a certain amount of situational awareness and cognitive awareness with yourself when you go to these places. The first thing you have to really acknowledge is you're an American. You are walking around with a big target on your back. Unless you can have a certain look and fit in with the actual population, you probably want to learn a little bit of the language and dress down a little bit, just a little bit more scaled down, so you won't stand out. And it's also best to know someone who is from there, and really just stay away from any place that's unsafe.
Right.
I think that, a lot of guys, when they go to these countries, not all brothers, but there's a certain amount of, you have a vacation mindset. So
Yeah.
you have your guard down. You don't think anything is going to happen, but you have to keep in mind you're in a foreign country. If something happens to you, there's not going to be that many people that can help you, even your brothers, which are there.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's just a sad situation, and we just have to recognize that this is going to happen when you conduct yourself in a certain way in these people's countries. It's just like there's so many. First of all, I wouldn't have been riding on the bus. I'd have been taking a taxi everywhere I went. You see what I mean? Because they'll let you know that when you get off the airport, get off the plane in the airport, they got armed security up at the airport. And this is an America. Yeah, you don't need a passport, but you definitely somewhere foreign. You understand what I'm talking about? And so
yes.
it just and that's Puerto Rico and Jamaica, man. I know Jamaica well enough to know that you got to be careful leaving the resorts. It's people that go back to Jamaica after coming from the UK and Canada and spending their whole life up there, and then they go back and retire in Jamaica and they end up getting robbed. You see what I'm saying? So,
or worse,
yeah,
there's been a trend of Jamaican expats that used to live in the United States or the UK, and they end up coming back there to retire and end up getting killed.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was like a major turnoff for me, just wanting to go back and expatriate there, because I can go back and live there as a citizen, but I'm like, they know I'm Americanized or American, so it creates a huge unfavorable situation and somewhat of a cloud of envy.
Yeah, I know. They see you as a target. And just so y'all know, Uncle D got receipts, man. This is me when I went to Cartagena, man. I think this was 2016. I had a great time. If you ever go to Cartagena, what you'll see is the Spanish ran this place just like they ran New Orleans and whatnot. So you got that same old traditional New Orleans Spanish French structure. This is some of the food. This is me at an outdoor restaurant, man. As you see, people out here chilling. Is safe. It's not the big bad boogeyman. You see, I did a lot of eating, but for the most part, man, this was a beautiful time I had down here. That's me, Uncle D, about 40 pounds smaller. You know what I'm saying? That's a little lady. I'm still in photographs of her. I think this is the waitress. She worked there. So this is, I believe. And so I wanted to show you guys this picture. This is a Black Colombian woman. If this don't look like everybody's great grandma right there, you see what I'm saying? This is a real. This is an older woman who's in the Castile, I believe, and she's been there for years. But this is what she do. She sells to her. You take a picture, you give her like $1 or something like that. This is the lobster. I think this might have cost me like $5 or $10, man. And they had conch and all that sort of stuff. So this is just, I think a wedding had just come by there, and this is me on the beach getting a massage from a Black Colombian woman. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, a lot of them came from the Congo. Remember last night we talked about the Congo, right? A lot of these people came straight from the Congo, bam, straight over to South America, Central America, and these are our people down here too, man. That's one of these pretty. The brother was talking about he was outside. Where's my man Lee? You were saying you were outside that club in the Castile. This is where I am right now. As y'all see, Uncle D is slim and fit and handsome and small. I need to drop about 40 or 50 pounds, but I had that hairline up there going good, as y'all can see. But either way, man, so it's good time. This is inside the club. You know what I'm saying? Just taking a picture of myself, but that's how I got my pictures in without being too conspicuous and whatnot. But of course, that's it. So I'm not talking to you guys from a lack of knowledge. I'm not hypothesizing. I'm telling you how I've been going and coming for 10 years, but I operate in a certain way. Coming from South Central LA, I know it's the way I have to conduct myself when I'm in certain place. You can't do everything like you do in your own neighborhood, in your own house when everybody knows. You got to conduct yourself in a certain way. But either way, David, what else you want to add to these folks, man? Any advice you want to give them about going to Colombia or whatnot? And then we'll go back to Inari. How do you say that, bro?
I and I are too. It's
I and I,
basically
we too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we are too.
I and I are too.
I and I, right, man. Yeah, we boy. Okay, but anyway, David, what else you want to? We'll give him some advice, man.
Okay. Well, you know, you just don't listen to the propaganda. I got a rule. Hold on. I'm gonna show you one of my brother-in-laws. I got some Black Colombians right here in this house with me right now.
Are they right there with you?
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. This is my brother-in-law.
Hola. Buenas tardes, señor. ¿Cómo está? Buenas noches. ¿Cómo está, señor?
Bien, gracias a Dios.
Y tu familia. Gracias por tu tiempo, señor. Buenas, señora. Buenas, ¿cómo está?
Es su cumpleaños.
Ay, cumpleaños, sí, cumpleaños. Cumpleaños. Ay, gracias.
Okay, I see. I can walk into the next room and show you brothers, a whole bunch of people look just like us.
Right.
They speak Spanish, right? They have, you know, maybe they cook a little bit differently, but they're just like us, and it's all in how you conduct yourself. If you come down here and act a fool, well, you're not going to make any friends. You're not going to make any family. Nobody's going to want to mess with you. And that's probably how you are in the States, you know?
Right.
So, and then the other thing is they had all kinds of slavery down here too. There's all kinds of towns, and there's a town right outside of Cartagena called Palenque. And they ran from their slave masters and established that town, you know? So this whole thing about slavery and what is it, post-slave syndrome and all that other stuff, how come these people over here aren't experiencing that? How come
David, you done hit on something. I wasn't ready to hit them with that yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm just now able to convince them that our own African brothers were the ones that ran up in the bushes and got us and captured us. Right. And I've just convinced them that we had a lot of stuff. We had our own stuff, our own culture. We had our own system. I just now got to that because they didn't learn that. See, the next thing I'm going to hit them with is the slavery that you experienced in America. It really wasn't as bad as the slavery that they had everywhere else.
They were way more brutal.
It was actually harder to get slaves to the United States. So you meant more. You were more expensive. Whereas in places like Colombia and Bogota, all of the winds will blow you
Barbados.
Straight. The winds blow you straight. It's a one-ship ride. They blow you straight from over there, and they work your ass to death for a year.
To death.
You die off, and then they get another one. They were running out of people in Congress because they was working them to death. We only had 400,000 slaves here, Black people who were slaves in the United States in 1806. It wasn't until they started breeding us that they got to 4 million at 1860. See, my Black American brothers and sisters don't understand that. No. And so I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them there, Dave. Just pushing.
I got ahead of the curve.
You just gotta slow down and wait for the rest of the plan. All right, Dave. But we'll get to that. Thank you so much, David. Thank you to your beautiful family, and thank you for your time. What else you got to say, bro?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm coming back to the States on the 29th. I'm gonna get with you with a consultation, and I got some things I need to holler at you about. So
please, if anybody wants to do a consultation, email me at sperlingdennis@gmail.com. Let me help you. Let me use my connections that I've been building up for the past 30 years, whether it's in business or law, whatever, all throughout the United States and most of the Caribbean country and South America, and let me help you out. Let me do Overwatch for you, so you don't have situations that happen like that brother happened. It's some people that I can talk to online. It's some people you got to meet me down in my villa in the Dominican Republic, and we got to have a one-on-one conversation face to face. But for the most part, 99% of you guys, we can talk. And even with those guys that they want to know what to do with their money and how to get their money here and there, and they want to hide it from their wife and all kinds of things. That's the conversation. That's an elite level conversation we need to have when I got me a drink in me, But either way, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. We're gonna go to let me see. We got Lee, and then we got my man. We are too. I and I are. So give me 1 minute. What do you got to say, bro? I and I are too. What's your thoughts on this conversation?
One of the things that I see quite often, because I was a part of a traveling group,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say who or what
No,
that
don't
group
say who, man.
is.
Just speak your word. And
I'm not.
y'all get the likes up. We got 100 and some people in. Hit the like button. Make sure you contribute to the super chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. But go ahead, bro. What were you saying?
One of the things our brothers actually forget when it comes to going to these other countries,
yeah,
is humility. Is humbleness and humility goes a long way.
Right.
I never thought about the term that other foreigners, even other westernized nations, have about us with this thing called American arrogance. But when you are, there's such a thing as American, and a lot of us have it and really don't realize it.
These black brothers don't realize they can be as arrogant to these folks in other countries as the white men are. But go ahead. They don't realize that.
And one of the things that brothers have to understand, humility goes a long way. And check your American arrogance and your privilege at the door when you go to these other countries.
Right.
Because it's a privilege to actually go there. And you're in someone else's country and their culture. Respect the culture and respect the customs.
Thank you so much.
I've seen.
Go ahead. I'm glad you said that, but go ahead.
And just relax. Just have a situational awareness around you, but drop your American arrogance when you go to these countries, because a lot of people, just by your mannerisms and even your body language, certain people are going to tell you're American, and either you're going to be loved, targeted, or hated for it. And the more out there you're out there about yourself being quote unquote American and arrogant, you will be dealt with.
Yeah,
I hate to say that because I've seen it in Facebook groups. I've even seen it in Jamaica. I've even seen it in Brazil. Just be humble.
Just come down there and chill and enjoy a good time. Don't be around there. You know, you can start a business. That's not a problem. But be humble, be fair. You know what I'm saying? Treat them like you would want white people to treat you here in the United States. Let's start with that. But anyway, man, thank you so much. Lee, we got you, and then we got Brandon Harrison. Lee, man, what do you want to give us some advice here, man, how this situation could have been handled differently, or whatever you want to talk about related to the subject.
No, I just want to say one last thing before I leave. I just want brothers to travel more, to see the world, because we're so confined into the whole United States mindset that people don't want to explore and see different things. Not only for the women though, like the culture. There's a lot of Black people literally all around the world, and I think that we should kind of have a global African connection.
Yeah,
and to link up with other people, because I think it will benefit the community as a whole. Just knowing that there's other melanated people out there throughout the world who goes through the same struggle, try to learn the language and the culture so you can, come together. That's it.
I appreciate it, man. Brandon Harrison, you came in late, but that's all right, brother. What you want to add to this conversation, man? What you got, man? Talk to us, man. Give us the good word.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the other brothers in regards to conducting ourselves a certain type of way when we're in, different countries and stuff like that. It's unfortunate, I heard about the brother and what happened with him as far as, being killed and things like that.
That's two brothers on the same damn day, basically. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
In one weekend.
Yeah, that's highly unfortunate, but
in one in Puerto Rico and the other in Colombia. Go ahead.
Right. So the reason I tune into your show often, but the reason I'm tuning in because I already booked a ticket to Cartagena, Colombia.
Okay.
Cartagena. I was in Ethiopia for 3 months, and I stayed in Uganda for a month too, for 4 months total at the end of last year. So I had a question because I have experience in the transportation and logistics industry. And my question is in regards to how's that industry in Colombia? Like, is that booming? Because I'm thinking about transitioning, like maybe in the next couple of years.
Shout out to Daryl Williams. He gave me a $10 cash app. He said, "I don't know if you know how important you are, bro. All praises to the Most High, brother. I'm just giving you guys some. I'm telling you what your uncle and your daddy and your granddaddy and all of them should have told you if they were the men that they should have been to you. They should have told you, man, the whole world belongs to you, man. You don't owe anybody anything. Live your life. Figure out what it is God wants you to do. All I'm telling you, brothers, is what somebody should have been telling. I'm telling you what Abu Bakr II figured out. I can leave this African coast and I can go over here to the other side of this Ethiopian ocean, i.e. the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm going to see what's over there because this whole world is mine. That's all I'm telling you, black brothers. You've been lied to. You've been misled by misquotes from the Holy Bible. You've been misled by history. You've been lied to by your mothers, your own women, your fathers and uncles and other men who've been simps in your family who want to keep you right here and there. All I'm telling you is you're free. So any praise you want to give to me, you don't give it to me. You just give it to God. But I thank you for your contributions. I thank you for all your support. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brandon, but you were saying the industry. What industry are you interested in?
So I'm currently, I have a MBA in supply chain management. Currently, however, I'm working in the transportation industry as a truck driver. So I'm a military veteran as well. So I'm just asking in regards to the logistics and the transportation side. Is there a need for that, like in South America, as far as having a transportation company, having like a trucking company or anything like that, or moving product and things like that? Do you see a need for that?
I would say yes and hell yes. Let's do a one-on-one consultation. You can email me at sperlingdennis@gmail.com. I'll plug you in with the people you probably need to know if that's something that you want to do.
Right,
okay,
right.
You got to let me know. But do you know what state you said South America? Do you know what country?
So I'm looking. I've been looking at the Bogota area, Colombia.
Right.
But in a gist, I'm looking. I know it's definitely more than likely needed in like a major city, maybe like Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de
Bogota,
Janeiro is in Brazil, and they speak Portuguese.
Right.
And do you speak Spanish or Portuguese?
I'm learning it, man.
Now, which one are you learning right now, bro?
I'm working on Spanish.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, man. If you want to put a game plan together for how you're gonna make that move. How old are you? Under 30? How old are you, bro?
I'm 28.
So you're a young brother, a young man out here, man, trying to take over the world. I ain't mad at you.
Right.
So what you want to do, man, schedule an appointment with me. Send me an email to sperlingdennis@gmail.com. Send me a list of the things you want to talk about. I'll send you make the payment, and we'll schedule it, and we'll go into detail. I'll plug you in with the people that you need to be hooked up with. I actually know a guy who started a business in Colombia where he has a call center in Colombia that services his company in California. Isn't that something?
Right.
So instead of paying all that California workers' comp and all that stuff, he got a bunch of English-speaking people that speak English and Spanish based out of Colombia, and they operate as his call center. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically virtual. You understand?
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's incredible.
So let's talk. Hit me up at sperlingdennis@gmail.com, and that's any of you guys. Let me run Overwatch for you. Let me help you set up these businesses overseas. Let me plug you in with the lawyers, the real estate agents, the other business people, personnel, the doctors, the dentists, whatever it is you need. Hit me up first. We'll get that together. I'm more than happy to help you guys out with that. But yeah, the answer is yes and hell yeah. It's a developing country. Of course they need that. They need everything. And they're itching for American ingenuity and productivity. You see what I'm saying? I love it when brothers say, I like the women, but I'm going down there for the money. You see what I'm saying? I knew at some point the brothers were going to realize, because we're entrepreneurial people, we got the entrepreneurial spirit. If you leave black men alone, we'll take over the world. Right. And that's why it takes a whole nation to hold us back. If they just remove those foots from our necks, and they call their assistants up off us, if we can get these lovely ladies out of our ear. No, you can't move that foot off your neck. You're not worthy. Blah blah blah. If we can finally get them out of our ear, then we'll just push that foot off of our neck and go on about our business. You see what I'm saying? But what keeps calling us back and bringing us back is our dedication to our lovely ladies, who have not been that dedicated to us, and who are not, and who we are the first men on this planet. This whole world belongs to us by right. God created the black man first. If you subscribe to the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran and all those other Abrahamic religions, that doesn't mean we shouldn't share it. Of course we should share it. But what I'm saying is this whole world belongs to yours, if not to own, maybe at least to explore and see what opportunities are out there for you. So, brother, if you go down there, and yeah, like I say, I knew at some point the brother's gonna be like, yeah, I like the women, but there's plenty of business out here for me to do. I can make plenty of money, and I can live a stress-free life. I ain't got to worry about somebody choking me out for 9 minutes and some seconds like George Floyd, or shooting me with my hands on the steering wheel because, you know, I made them nervous. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. You see what I mean? And this is what I want you, but the whole world belongs to you. There's so many opportunities out there. Your American passport, that blue passport will take you all around the world. That ingenuity, the education. We are the most educated group of Africans on this planet. We're the most financially literate, the most financially well-off black folks on this planet. We spend how much? $1 billion, $500 million in weave and hair products alone. You see what I'm saying? We good, you know? So, and you brothers make more, no matter what these lovely ladies say. Black men make more money on average than black women, and they make a lot, and we're more educated than them. So we good. The world is yours, brother. So yeah, hit me up, sperlingdennis@gmail.com. You know, to give me a list of everything you want to talk about. I'll send you the payment amount, and we'll talk for an hour. You see what I'm saying? And we'll get you set up, and you start now, and you come out. Okay, I got a year plan, I got a 2-year plan, I got an 18-month plan. Whatever it is, you go step by step and you make it happen. You understand what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
yeah,
man.
I appreciate
I'm proud of you for even thinking like that at 28. You hear me? I'm proud of you for even thinking like that. You see what I'm saying? Most dudes just trying to pop some bottles in the club with their tax return. And you talking about, yeah, I think I'm gonna go down to Columbia and start me a transportation bill. You go right on ahead and run it, man.
Right.
All right. Okay, man. God bless you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I have had a wonderful conversation. Be safe when you're traveling overseas, fellas. Take some advice. You know, respect these people. This is not your country. You know, it don't matter how big and bad you were in Blackistan. You're in somebody else's country. You're a man. You're a visitor. Show some respect. You know what I mean? And don't argue with these folks, man. Don't do that. Learn the language. Learn the culture. Learn to respect, man. Respect the people. You know, respect and being humble. I tell you guys all the time, I'm a humble man. I love the Lord. You see what I'm saying? And that's what keeps me humble. You know what I mean? You don't see me coming on here being all big and bad and telling you, because even that young man, Mr. Jackson said he ain't going nowhere. I respect that. He's entitled to his opinion. I want everybody to have their opinion. I may disagree, but I disagree in a respectful manner, you know, and that's what it's all about. But either way, man, this is Uncle D, man. I love you guys. You know, my condolences to Mr. Loat's family. It's a terrible situation that happened. I hope we all, if nothing else in this tragedy, we can learn from it and do better as we begin to travel around the world and, you know, reclaim what's ours, man. God bless you, brothers. I love you. It's Uncle D. I'm out.